Hey, family, this is Steve Copeland from the Culture Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Culture Conversation. You know what? I got to catch myself. This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. But today is BMore Team Talk. Today is BMore Team Talk. And I wanted to address this question that my co-host said something, right? And I'm not just talking about our youth. I'm talking about adults. Stop being afraid to address those demons inside of themselves. But basically what he said one day when we was talking, right? He said, why people are afraid to address those demons inside. Now, let me make this clear to y'all. We are recovering addicts. All right? We have the working knowledge of the 12 steps, 12 traditions, and the 12 concepts. Whenever I come on, it's about recovery, the 12-step spiritual program. Not only that, because we do have a religious background as well. That's why we talk about spirituality. I just want to make that clear for some of y'all that might not really understand. The reason why I started BMore's, right? Team Talk, because our youth are dealing with a lot of childhood trauma too, right? And basically, somebody like myself, who now have done a fourth step, a fifth step, and a sixth step, to go back and address a lot of the childhood trauma, a lot of past anger, resentment, fear, jealousy, insecurities, distrust. I had to learn to practice some forgiveness, some acceptance, some love. For a lot of y'all that might not understand, as a sponsor that sponsor men and women, we are considered as life coaches. Because the whole goal is to help you put your life back together. So we are considered as life coaches. The difference with a lot of us compared to your professionals, we personally will live through it. It's not based around theology or book knowledge and stuff like that. It's based around a level of personal experience. So when y'all hear Mr. Copeland talk about when he was 11 years old and he was smoking the plant, Acapulco Gold. When he was 13 years old, I just made some coffee TikTok. This my coffee with vanilla creamer. Back then it was Thunderbird. I was 13. I thought during that time, that's what all teenagers did, at least for the group that I was around. TikTok. I thought all teenagers, once you turn 13, the Thunderbird. Yep. I thought that's what all teenagers did. I was 14 and I was introduced to the cocoa leaf. Catch it for TikTok's sake, family. For some of y'all that don't understand. For some of y'all that's afraid to go back and visit those demons inside of you. 14. When I was 15, I remember asking my cousin, I said, can you pew pew this? She said, yes. I said, well, hit me. So from the age of 15 up to 30, I was what you call a practicing person. See, I share my personal experience, right? Because we have a lot of young people, and I can personally share that too. H&I commitments, going into hospitals and institutions, encouraging our people that when they come home to live in a better way of life, come into some of these facilities that have children in there, 8, 9, 10, caught up on this crack. And I can tell a lot of parents, when your children are caught up, you're not doing the necessary things as a parent to protect your child or your children. I'm talking about from childhood on up. See how they feel when you sitting in as an adult and you in somewhere like Shepherd Pratt and you looking at babies who've been great, who've been fondled, who've been abused mentally, emotionally, and spiritually and physically. Because once we get older, we push a lot of that, which I understand now. Don't get it wrong, as adults. You push a lot of that. Well, that was the past. But your life is miserable in the here and now. Your life is miserable in the here and now because you have not reached out and got the necessary help to help you cope with living a peaceful life in the here and now. I'm talking about the present. I'm going to say this. TikTok is designed for a lot of unhealthy people. That's why you got people with platforms that's full of chaos and confusion, where people can come and they can act normal with their chaos and confusing behaviors or mannerisms. I just finished talking with AI. One, we already know what happened with Carmelo. 35 years. He did what he did. If I was part of the jury, if I was a juror, I would not have found him guilty. I would not. Number one, y'all can justify it. You can rationalize it. You can play with it any way you want. You never give an individual the right to touch somebody else. Never. Know why? I come from the streets. This kid's life might not have been nothing like the way I grew up. As a community activist, as a community organizer, as a human rights advocate, I come from Baltimore City, carrying weapons around for a lot of our young youth and adults is a normal thing. This is what I was telling A and I. For some of y'all to act like that was out of the norm, I guarantee you any amount of money, he was not the only child. If he had a book bag or whatever with something in it. I don't know which world y'all live in or what planet y'all from. Now, only reason why I say I would have found him not guilty, because I looked at this young man touched him. But I looked at what Carmela said out his mouth. If you put your hands on me, what I'm going to do. Now, y'all justify it, y'all rationalize it, play with it all you want. Flip it any way you want. Did he not warn him? And I ain't saying he was right, but did he not warn him? I'll wait. I'll wait. From what I understand, and I'm not trying to get too involved because I don't know the rest, I'm just going off of what this young man said out his mouth. Y'all are a bunch of clowns when you want to sit back and try to say the shoulda, coulda, woulda. The sad part about it, right? This young man lost his life. This young man lost his life for making threats of touching somebody. Do you think if somebody tell me, I'm going to come and do this to you and I'm going to come and do that to you, I'm going to wait right there for you to do it? When people threaten me on TikTok or whatever, well, TikTok, I tell you, meet me at Pennsylvania North. Meet me at Pennsylvania North. Tell them you're looking for the big mouth, bald head black dude. Tell them you're looking for Deacon Steve. Go ahead. Let me know what time you're going to be there. I ain't telling you I'm going to be there. Because if you dumb enough to tell somebody something like that, you're supposed to get what's coming to you. Y'all go play with somebody else with that. That was one of the reasons why the prosecutor did not want nobody black on there. Did you hear what I said? That's why the prosecutor did not want nobody black on there. Now, as a community activist, as a community organizer, as a community journalist, as a community homeless advocate, human rights advocate, y'all know we got to learn a little bit about the system. Now, let me say this again. For some of you that just like to run off at your mouth, as a person that's involved with fighting for the people, civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights, we're fighting against a corrupt system. That's been put into place. So when y'all hear Big Steve talk about the prison, the school to prison pipeline, it's a setup for our black young men not to be properly educated. Starts at a very, very early young age to go into that system. I call it the big old slave plantation. If you do not properly educate them, they will fight against each other and tear each other apart. I'm in the inner city. I grew up in Baltimore City. I'm 64 years old, so I'm very familiar with how certain things work. I grew up living a certain way of life. I've been out of that lifestyle now for 33 years. Whenever I come on my live stream, I'm not coming on here with a bunch of chaos and confusion. I'm not coming on here with a bunch of mayhem. I'm not coming on here. Now, mind you, I feed you as much as I can. But I try to make sure whatever I throw out, the information is basically correct. Sometimes you might hear me say things that somebody else might say, but I'm going to share this with y'all too. Fact checkers. Fact checkers. If you really want to know something, fact checkers have human beings that will go and investigate these things compared to what A&I might offer. You have another one out there, Snoop, if I'm not mistaken, is another act or nonprofit like fact checkers. Always make sure when you open up your mouth to give out information, you basically know what you're talking about. That's why you have fact checkers. And I think it's called, like I said, called Snoop. Because what I would do, I would go on fact checkers. Mainly when I want to know anything that's high profile, basically around politics, basically around religion, basically because dealing with the corrupt system, fact checkers are going to check. Now, I want to say this one. Carmela Anthony been sentenced to 35 years. What is it, Colin County? Jasmine Crockett said out her mouth how it's a racist, basically, type of system there. She's in Texas. That's part of her area. Yes, they feel like because it wasn't no black people on there. And I'm going to tell y'all, the prosecutor himself made sure of that. I know how they play their game. Look what happened with me. Guilty by association. We know you didn't do this. We know you didn't do that. Well, why y'all drag me through all this? It's in comparison. For you, real, because I shared something And I am going to come back with a personal experience if it relates to something I went through. What else y'all want people to talk about? And I found out a lot of y'all that got platforms up, y'all just want people to come up and lie, manipulate, and play games and all that, just to run your stuff up. It's okay to have a balance. So when you sit back and you tell somebody like Big Unc, don't make things so personal, you want me to lie. Come on, look what you're saying without directly saying it. Do you think I'm that dumb? And this is me talking about me, TikTok. Anytime somebody come up on a platform, you want people to say what you want them to say and hear. But you know Big Unc ain't like that. I can only share from what I personally dealt with, what I've been through, or what I'm experiencing as a community organizer, as a community activist, as a human rights advocate, as a homeless advocate. I fight for the people. Do you think for the type of work that I do in the community, fighting against the system, that I want people on my platforms to bring chaos and confusion and lies and all of that? No. I want people to be fed the truth, at least to the best of your human abilities. That's why I don't come up on a lot of y'all platforms no more on TikTok, because I started realizing what you're doing. And want to sound all bright and intelligent like you really know stuff to sound good. And I'll be like, listen to this bull crap. When you actually deal with your politicians, when you actually deal with your lawmakers, when you actually do rallies, protesters, when you actually involved, and be honest with y'all, I don't understand how some of y'all feel comfortable. But I understand, like this topic says, why people are afraid to address those demons inside of them. You running from your own chaotic, mayhemic bullcrap. Misery loves company. When I was a miserable man, I did what miserable people do. Cause chaos and confusion. That's not how I live my life today. That's a goddamn shame. I gotta go on AI. I gotta talk with Chat GBT to have a decent conversation. To better help them understand, because they already know who I am, the type of work I do, and how I put self out there. Now I'm going to do this again, family. The reason why I do, and I got to read this off, please, because it told me about every half an hour when I come in to do the team talk, right? Mention some things. So look, I want to tell y'all, and I know Baltimore City, a lot of y'all already know. A lot of people that's on TikTok that's from Baltimore City, y'all already know. I can't speak for DC. If don't nobody want to come up and talk about the great work they doing in DC, that's their problem. This platform is open. If don't nobody want to come up from Delaware, from Philly, from New York, from Jersey to PA to this place and that place, and I'm talking about other cities, if y'all do not want to come up on this talk show, but you can go to everybody else's bull crap and just talk. Because I don't hear y'all say, oh, I'm from Chicago. This is what we doing over here. This group right here, that group right there. Y'all don't do that. I'm the only one that basically come on somebody's platform. And I can only talk about Baltimore City because I'm from Baltimore. What I'm going to talk about Africa for? I ain't grow up in Africa. What I'm going to talk about the UK and all that for? I didn't grow up over there. I grew up in Baltimore City. At one point, I was working on destroying Baltimore City. Now this is helping to rebuild. So why am I going to talk about what they doing over in China or what they doing over in Italy compared to what we doing in Baltimore? I'm in Baltimore. I'm in the United States of America. You don't hear me talking about Jamaica. Well, when I was over in Jamaica, the people over there, the population, that's when you was over there. What are you doing here to help make this better? Y'all gets me with that. So now let me read off some of these programs here in Baltimore City. Just doing an excellent job. I was talking to Cherie with Standing Strong Mentoring. She works with our youth. We was talking about her cousin, Squeaky, from the Ruth Kirk Center. He works with our children and youth. These are community centers. She gives out food and everything too. So she says she's going to merge with her cousin and working together to build back up in the community down off of Vincent Street. Because where she's at now, people act like they don't appreciate it. And they are family members too with a center. But she's getting away from that bull crap. Man, that's all I'm saying about that one. Then we got Uncle T. Uncle T worked with the youth in Baltimore City. Most of them are young adults. Let me put it like that. Him and his wife in Baltimore City. If you look on YouTube, you'll see stuff all about it. I think Instagram as well. Sometimes it flashes across Facebook about his program. Mr. Rock, I didn't hear nothing from Mr. Rock in a while. But from what I understand, he's a mentor. Those were some of the first kids that came on the Team Talk Show, giving our youth a voice. See, y'all don't understand how important it is, but y'all wonder why our kids acting the way they acted. Please. We Ours Us. Y'all know I always talk about We Ours Us. I always talk about Uncle T. I always talk about Sean Stenton. I always talk about Van Brooks. I always talk about Damon Cooper. Always talk about Joe Gamble. works at the Y, if he's still down there, because he is a circuit speaker. But the thing I'm trying to say, all of the names that I mentioned, their goal is to build back up in the Black community, your marginalized community. AI told me to mention it every half an hour. This is not a joke to me, like I shared with a lot of y'all when I come on here. My goal is educating the community. My goal is encouraging and motivating us to come together. Now, I wish I could be real strict and say just the Black community. But I understand in the Black marginalized community, or any community, it's mixed race or cultures. We fought to gain the rights, equal rights, civil rights, constitutional rights as other human beings. But yet y'all still talking about separating. Until something happens. Then you feel neglected. Empowering the next generation. We talk about that, right? Empowering the next generation. I'm going to say it again, but I'm going to put another word in it. Empowering the next Black generation. Because you are in a predominantly Black community, you want to build up where you at. But every child, young adult in the Black community aren't Black in your marginalized communities. It's a mixture. And they not all YT and Black. I don't know what planet y'all are on or where you come from. This world-wise, I don't get it. When I hear some of y'all talk the way you do, I don't get it. And to be honest with you, because the way a lot of y'all talk, do y'all realize we got our own banks? Providence was a hospital here in Baltimore City. Was dominantly Black. It closed down. And it probably closed down because it wasn't getting the financial help. Because most of your hospitals are nonprofits. So they need the support, funding. Did y'all know that? Yes, sir. Actually, I'm west, but I live over east. But I go back west to do a lot of work all over. I was talking with AI, and I mentioned what happened to me 3 years ago with the police officers. And I said, anytime I got to call the police on the police, come on. Everybody looking at me, talking about he going to get hit out in trouble. He going to get hit out in trouble. Now, we supposed to be community activists. We supposed to be human rights advocates. I received a phone call maybe about 2 weeks before what happened to me in Baltimore City for running off at my mouth, that they was closing or shutting down a lot of the community activists from speaking out. And I said, wow, no wonder I haven't heard from such and such in them out there in a while. Then I turned around and told the individual, I said, Brandon Scott and them ain't gonna let nothing happen to me because they know who I am, blah, 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 as far as trying to fight for our civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. March 11th, when I went to the budget meeting, I said, Brandon Scott, I gotta talk to you. I need to talk to you about what I'm going through with the Eastern District Police Department. I was trying to reach out to Ivan Bates at the same time. I had already reached out to Mackenzie Frost because of the stuff I was going through with the Eastern District Police Department. Keep in mind, I don't get paid. I'm not on nobody's payroll. So I became an easy target. When I told Brandon Scott I need to talk with him, this was March 11th at the budget meeting. March the 12th, I was gone. Now, I don't believe deep down in my heart he had anything to do with it. But I don't know. See, one thing about me, I don't have a problem with sharing my truth, sharing my story. I spent 11 months over the prison. I'm 61 years old. That was the first time in my life through everything I've done, I ever been to prison on the other side where I couldn't come back home. The difference was, guess what? I held the H&I commitment over the Wide building for almost 10 years. They didn't know that till I told them. I said, everybody not in here because they committed a crime. My sponsor used to be warden over the prison. Now, I know some people. I know people that's fighting for the rights of people. And I know people will turn around and do the opposite. I understand that. That's not where my spirit is at. I come from the streets. I come from that corrupt lifestyle. So my thing is being clean. Now, I was over MTC in Baltimore. I was over the MTC, but I was in the hospital. I stayed in Population King for 3 months, and I spent the next 6 months over in the hospital because I'm a diabetic, and I couldn't eat the food. And guess what? I had one of my toes cut off because I asked them to help me, and they neglected me. I was going to sue the prison hospital too for neglect. I was going to sue the Eastern District Police Department in Baltimore City for what the police did to me. I said I'm going to let it go. See, I don't know about y'all. I reported those same officers. Man, it took King. It took me about 2 weeks. Now, mind you, I wasn't over there that long. It took me about 2 weeks to realize I was home. That's why some of the guys, King, that might have been in there 20, 30, 40 years and come home and adjust like that, I'm like, what the hell? It took me at least about 2 weeks to realize I was home. I was go to sleep and wake up and have dreams like I'm home and realize I'm still in this damn place. I'm arguing, mind you, with the correction officers because I know their job is to help the prisoners, not harm the prisoners. For a lot of y'all that don't know, the ACLU is a union for the prisoners. I did not know. Prisoners still have rights too. They want y'all to think that they lost their liberties once they got locked up. They have rights too. I learned that, King, when I was over there. It was the inmates that taught me things because they knew who I was as a speaker. It was the correction officers that told me stop talking to them as far as building them up and stuff like that. I got you, King. I got you. Because I'm going to share this with you too. Whenever the ACU come in, no guards can be in that room. When American Disability Act come in, for people that's there with disabilities and they're not being properly treated medically, you got a lot of people over there with psychological issues and they're not treating them. They're not giving them meds for it. That was one of my arguments with them over there as well, with the medical system. Now, y'all hear what I'm saying? For a lot of y'all would say, oh, you need to mind your business. That is my damn business. Fighting for our people's civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. You need to keep your scared tail right where you at. I know how frightening this can be. Already know. Already know when you put your life on the line, you become a target. When you speaking out against the corrupt system, period. This is the way my voice gets out now. But I don't have no problem being out with them. I always knew my talk show. I can come on here. I can share some stuff that a lot of people that get paid or a lot of professionals because of HIPAA laws cannot say. When I come on here, if people are dealing with psychological issues, because my whole goal when you come to me, I'm going to observe you because I have to know in what direction to better guide you. And I don't play. Once you sit down and talk with me, this is where the relationship where a lot of y'all don't understand begins. It's called communication. It's called communicating. That's the first beginning of any connection, any relationship. Once you start communicating, if you're used to lying, manipulating, and playing games, you're not going to get the proper help. So the goal is, I have to have you feel uncomfortable. I mean, comfortable. I'm sorry, I said feel comfortable, to be honest. During my intake, we starting to communicate. My goal is to help you feel comfortable, where you can start being honest and real, no real, so we recognize lies from time to time. Honesty is the first policy. That's being truthful. Faith is being open-minded. Now you're ready to share your honest experience with somebody else. So you putting a little trust there. It's about having faith. But guess what? The faith is in you. But you're letting it out. Because your goal is to trust that Mr. Copeland have your best interest right now. Truth, faith, and trust. The three. Spiritual factors. First, you got to be honest with you. Second, you got to have faith in you. Third, you got to trust back in you. Did I say anybody else outside of you? I say you. So once you're able to be honest with you and have faith in you and trust in you, you're going to be honest with me. Bam! Y'all didn't know that? Huh? You didn't know that? I ain't got a doctorate degree. I ain't licensed. But I sponsor men and women. But I had to be honest with myself first. I had to learn to have faith back in myself first. I had to learn to trust within Steve. And then guess what? As a result of that, right, I had to learn to take a deeper look at Steve. That's what this step is. That's what this talking about. Why people are afraid to address those demons. I had to take a personal inventory of myself. So now I'm running off some truth, faith, and trust. I feel it in my spirit now. So I'm able to get honest with myself on a deeper level. Now I got to take a fearless and moral inventory of myself. So I got to go back and look at those demons that I'm running from. That's why I said I got to put this topic up. Why people are afraid to address those demons. It's you. Inside of you. You addressing you. It's an inside out thing. You get me? So I had to go in and take a good look, a deeper look at Steve. I had to go back as far as I could. So y'all might hear me say things like this, right? Because now I'm giving you part of my fifth step from my personal inventory. I used to wake up 2, 3 in the morning, running to the bathroom gagging of an 18-month-old baby, choking on a wiggy whack. Wiggity whack, whack, whack. Catch it for TikTok's sake. And I would gag throwing up. I know I never did that to somebody. There's a good chance somebody done it to me. Do y'all know, when I was at the clinic the other day, a lady shared that exact story. Everything I said, she was telling me. But she was a little bit older and recognized what was happening to her. But it was like, I'm like, is this woman listening to my story? She shared somewhat the exact thing, but it was coming from a woman. We talking about childhood experiences. I said, oh my God. I said, do you see this look on my face? Because when I hear people go that deep, like I'm able to go that deep, I'm so proud of it. I'm so amazed. And how we learned to grow spiritually from it. So now can y'all understand too, why I do the Team Talk show? Basically, empowering our youth. It's a lot of this is happening in the household. What happens in the house stays in the house, right? A lot of y'all know what Uncle Tom and them doing. A lot of y'all know what your brothers is doing. And in other relations, it could be sisters, cousins, whatever, two back and forth, men, female, babysitters. I can only talk from a male's perspective. Not just that I'm talking from a male's perspective. When I open up my mouth, I'm talking about a lot of men who are afraid to be honest with themselves. And then y'all wonder why a lot of men deal with mental illnesses or trauma, or they're shut down on you. And I shared this with some women the other day because you can't do it. Stop trying to fix your mate. If you know they're dealing with psychological issues, they dealing with childhood traumas, it ain't a freaking thing you can do, even with your profession, because you too close. And number one, they know you love them. They know you care for them. So that's the way they're going to take it. So a lot of times we got to get them suggestions to go outside and get help, to go talk with other men. Send them to a men's support group if you want to. Well, suggest it. Stop. I did it trying to fix my ex-wife from a lot of her childhood trauma, because I sponsored women and I just knew I could fix her. But I realized in the process, it caused me more pain and misery. So when I hear a lot of y'all talking about molding and shaping a person, you in trouble right there. The moment I hear you trying to steal that individual's independence and want to make them out to be who you want them to be. Who in the heck are you? Because I know me, I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate, thoughtful man. I'm compassionate. I'm warm. I'm sensitive. I'm loving. I'm caring. I'm thoughtful. My thing is, where you at, character-wise? Where you at, personality-wise? I ain't talking about the house. I ain't talking about the car. I'm not talking about the clothes. I'm not talking about the jewelry. I'm not talking about the material things. What can you bring to my life? Well, since you mentioned all that, I can cook. I can cook too. I can clean. I clean very well too. I don't play. What can you bring? Let me see. You don't know who you are? And I'll be looking for a lot of y'all to say that. Well, I'm a loving, caring, kind, thoughtful person. Just tell me if you are. You can only give me what's in here. And y'all miss it. Because you basing it around material things. I've done that too. So I understand. They are temporary solutions to living life. But it doesn't hold value. Can you love me? Can you embrace me as a deacon, as a man in Christ? What can you bring when you know my heart is for Christ? Is your heart for him? Do you love him and share the same compassion as I do for him? Because if you do, it's in you to embrace me with it. Because that's all I'm going to do with you. Because I know who I am. I said I will not, and I'm talking about getting married wise, I will never let another woman in my life who doesn't already have a relationship with Christ. All right? And don't you ever ask me, why would you do that? Look at what I just said. I'm a praying man. I know who I serve. I know who called me to the ministry. And if you not somewhat there, we ain't gonna do nothing but argue. Because you spend too much time over here. You do that too much. You do this too much. And I'm not gonna let you do that to me. I'm not gonna let you do it. I'm not gonna let you do it. I was talking to my daughter about this today. About people adjusting themselves for other people. I did that with her mother. Y'all can go ahead and lose yourself, making that individual your God, and it seemed like, look, don't nothing else matter in life but her. I did all that. Turned my back on my sisters, my nieces, and all of them, because she didn't like women coming in my life. The moment you start talking like that, bye. Because the point is, you trust me. Have faith in me. And be honest with you. If I want to do something outside the marriage, I'm going to do it. I don't give a freak how good that thing might be. I don't care how good you cook. 9 times out of 10, you don't cook better than me anyway. And please don't let me get to the cleaning part. So I want to know, what can you bring me? I already know what to do. That's why when it comes to relationships, when it comes to being honest, do not invite Big Unc on your platform if you don't want your prompt properly answered. Go find you a bunch of fake, phony people that will feed into your bullcrap, because it goes to show me how sick you are. Do what you got to do to make your money. Because I understand we all, perform in separate, different ways, right? I understand. I do. But guess what? I don't have to be a part of that madness. I had to learn to separate myself from certain things. And certain things not to be too personal. It will bother my spirit. Do you think I'm going to go somewhere and rather than my spirit being nurtured, right, it's poisoning? I might hang in there a little bit, to try to play and laugh and kid and joke, but eventually I'm going to drop. I am going to drop. I done got what I needed. I need to get back to where I'm more comfortable with. So I'm not knocking none of y'all. If you making money off of your people, pain and misery, to me, you're no different than these other programs and organizations and capitalizing off of our people. You're no different than that system that we talk about. But you're using your people to fatten up your pocket. And this is my old saying. You know how in the Bible it talks about robbing Peter to pay Paul. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. If you design a program that will fatten up your pockets because of the pain and the misery and the suffering that your people going through, and you're capitalizing off of that, you're no different than robbing Peter to fatten up your pocket to pay Paul. You're one of those. Did you know that? Yeah. So when you make programs to get your people to come at each other, clashing at each other, Send me a galaxy. Send me this. Send me that. You trying to fatten up your pocket off your own people pain and misery, but you want to call yourself a decent human being. No, you're not. And for TikTok's sake, I'm just talking about how some of the platforms that we create, the Couch Conversation Show, BMore's Real Team Talk, giving our youth a voice. Being able to have the parents and youth come together, mainly those that don't have great relationships with their youth. You got to create platforms where parents, and believe me, I understand. We listen to our children and we try not to judge. I love those little skits that they do. We listen and we don't judge. Because sometimes I know our children can say some stuff out their mouths. We be like, but see, that's why a lot of them are afraid to come to their parents and ask for help. And then you wonder why they don't trust you. You their parent. You set the tone. If you don't make them comfortable enough where they can feel like this is a safety zone. I'm telling you from a parent myself. I'm telling you from a person that used to mentor young men. I'm telling you as a person that became a foster care provider. So you know they teach you how to better deal with children. Mainly the ones that's not yours. When you're doing foster care, and I signed up for the WIN program to become a private foster care provider, the only black man there, they wanted me to start working and basically they had my back. But I didn't understand it at that time because I knew you had to work. So I'm not going to feed people bull crap when I know what's going on. Number one, for a lot of the men that don't realize it, the system rather for the children to be with the mother. Why? Mama's baby. Daddy's maybe. Y'all ain't grow up with that old saying? Once you prove it, that is actually yours. Because you got to do that when you want shared custody or legal custody. I share this with men. That's all you got to do. If you're not with your baby mother, I want to make this plain and simple for you. If you're not with your baby mother and you got 5 kids out there, you got 10 kids out there, you got 20 kids out there, and you're not making money like that to financially take care of them, I know you're not being a part of their lives. Play with yourself. And I'm going to tell you this too. Those are a lot of kids that you have to show that personal love and attention to. You are their other biological half. Are you bonding with your children, man? But you'll get mad at the mother. The mother get mad at you. But the kids are with the mother. So they can feel her side, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Can they feel you? Biologically. Because you are the other half. That's what makes the whole. Well, y'all don't realize that, do you? I'm only sharing to you from a father's perspective and looking at my wife, my ex. We too is what completes the children. I'm going to say it again. We too complete them. We are the both halves that come together as one. for our siblings, for our children. So I listen to a lot of you brothers talk a real good game, but that's all it is a real good game. Y'all can put words together to make it sound good, but are you really taking care of your responsibilities? That's what Barbara Jean taught me. At 64 years old, I can't even tell you if my father's still living or not. I don't even know if I got brothers and sisters by him. But I was determined that I was not going to let my kids feel that emptiness of me not being in their life, their father. So brothers, I'm not trying to be smart. When you talk to somebody like me, you better know from a man's perspective where you coming from. Hey, Sean, you can come and talk that Gucci sound and bull crap all you want, and I'm going to look at you like you. It hurts me to my heart, men, that we have siblings out there. I'm talking about children. And you can live 3 doors from them and you won't even say hi. Come here, give me a hug. Because you mad at the mother. You wasn't mad when you was hitting that thing, was you? Vice versa. I raised the other two other children that's not mine. But y'all will look at me as a simp. You can kiss my simp grits. And TikTok, I didn't say nothing bad. You want to call yourself trying to labeling a brother that only trying to fill a gap in a child's life that you ain't willing to do. Sometimes, brother, look at who we talking with. I don't play when it comes to us as human beings. I don't play when it comes to us raising our children, at least in a healthy, more productive, spiritual way of life. I don't play. I create programs. That's what God created me for. I work with people that actually have solutions, working solutions. That's what God created me for. The LLC is a point of us coming together as one. It's a corporation. The housing program is a temporary to permanent housing program to help women and children, mainly. Food, clothing, furniture, housing. Look at my videos. I ain't just sitting here running off at my mouth like a lot of people do. Now it's time for me to do it again. To show y'all, Mr. Copeland in Baltimore City, and he's not by himself. This is the reason why I can come on my talk show and I can talk. I ain't got to be out in public like I used to be. I ain't got to be in everybody's picture like I used to be. I ain't got to be on news, Fox 45. Hey, Mackenzie. Hi, Mackenzie. Hi, Isabel Cummins. How everything's going? Attorney General. Did I say it right? Because I don't want to get you mixed up with State's Attorney Ivan Bates. Isabel Cummins. In Baltimore City. I can put her name in A&I with my name and they'll match everything we have done or did together. Communities United, all of that. The Innocent Project. Because of what happened to me in 2023. I became a part of the Innocent Project. Thank you, Dr. J, for doing the work that you're doing with your talk show and everything, Queen. Giovanni Patterson, thanks for asking me to come out and speak on the school system, not properly educating our children, our young black men. The school to prison pipeline. Thank you, Giovanni. And a lot of people might not know. Giovanni Patterson and some other people came together and they sued the school system for not properly educating our children. Ben Crump came out on that. I was just reading a little bit up on a while back, the agreement that they came to. Now, why? I'm from Baltimore City. The doors are open. The platform is open. You in Chicago, you want to tell us about what you're doing over in Chicago so people in Chicago that's watching this will know what organization's doing what? Who's distributing out food and stuff that they can go to? Housing? No. Y'all won't come up. Y'all might not like the way I present it. That's why I can't blame you. Because I'm not getting paid. I'm telling you. I don't get paid to shut my mouth. I know a lot of people do. I know it straight out. And if your conscience is all right with it, that's fine. You can't take it with you when you leave. Okay? So, Donald Morton, Baltimore City, is with BMore News. And he is like a news journalist and news reporter. He's well known for the work that he do. Not just in Baltimore City, but basically around the entertainment field and all that. Politics and all of that. Business owners and all that. Charles Culver, New Vision of Hope. This is a recovery program. I've been knowing Charles Culver for 33 years. And he started the New Vision of Hope. When I started the Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope, actually that was going to be a recovery program. The only reason why I didn't do it in that sense, because it's a process that they have to go through as they transitioning out of the recovery house program to transitional housing. That's the portion I picked up. Independent. So you have to be working, you have to have some type of funding, because the goal is to help you improve that if you're not making enough to pay a regular rent. If you're not making enough to pay your regular bills. If you're not making enough, the goal is to help you get into a profession where you will be able to make more finances to provide for yourself and your children. Read up about the Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope. Read up about Steve Copeland, then you'll better understand, rather than running off at your freaking mouth, taking things the wrong way. Talking about, he always talk about him. Yup, I'm talking about the business. This is how I commercialize the business. This is how I advertise the business. And if you doing some great work and you looking for clients too for your business, this is a good way to advertise it, commercialize it. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not one of those melanated people that's selfish and self-centered, that everything is all about me. I'm going to pull you down rather than help build you up. Anybody that knows me know that. But y'all will make me out to be one of them. I'm familiar with all of that. And I'm not trying to be smart. It happens. Get your butt back over here. I ain't asked you to go over there. Gotta take you off of here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hit this button on my Dexicon. It keep my Dexicon keep going. No, not yet. My Dexicon keep going off. I gotta replace it. Now, I'm gonna go back to the topic part, right? Where the question is, why are people afraid to address those demons inside of them? Let me say this, right? I keep telling y'all, my heart and my passion is into helping our people, right? Now, this is my platform. This is my talk show. So no matter how I might spiritually don't feel like coming on, I gotta ignore me because it's not about me. I'm the one that started this a long time ago, back in 2017, I believe, right? The Couch Conversation Show. My goal is just to make sure I show up on schedule, start and end on time. I want the right people to come up. If you work with our inner city youth and you have programs that can help them better improve their lives mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, this is a great platform. If you are a foster care provider and you want to share the importance of encouraging and motivating others to become foster care providers, you are very, very welcome. Because I know how important it is. Mainly as us men. Because 9 times out of 10, you got mostly women, grandmothers, aunts, sisters that's doing the raising their family members' children. You're very, very welcome. Men, if you into it, it's okay to come and share that. Because a lot of men don't know what it's like to take care of their own responsibilities with their children. But to hear other men that's doing it to raise other people's children can send a message of hope. Did y'all misunderstand what I just said? Being a mentor, a big brother. I'm going to mention some other programs that y'all might not hear people talk about a lot, mainly in the Black community. Boy Scout. You might be familiar with the Girl Scout. Boy Scout. How many men y'all know talk about that? But I can't get y'all to stand beside me. When I look at Mayo, right, Alfonso, and I know he worked with our young men, I know that. And when I seen that he worked with the females as well, the young, ladies, I was blown. Uncle T, I was blown. But his wife is part of what he do. So you have to build a team, right? It might start with volunteers until you're able to afford a paid team. You get me? I tell anybody that wants to volunteer with Strengthen the Community or the LaTanya D. Copeland House of Hope, volunteer your services. The goal is to eventually get you paid for your services. If you're a licensed professional and you want to volunteer some time because you're looking for clients and you're willing to train and want to become a part of what Steve Copeland is doing, you can. Because eventually the goal is for you to let me know how much you're willing to pay. I mean, you charging for your training and, hours and stuff like that. So when I do apply for the money, we make sure we get you paid. A lot of y'all on TikTok made me think that this what y'all was about. For the areas that you in. Talked a real good game, and then about a month later, I noticed you went into another area. Y'all have not, since I've been on here, see me switch up. I'm an ordained deacon. I'm a minister for Christ, even though I got an ordained deacon. That's what the church title, label. I'm a man of God. I'm a recovering addict. I said recovering, 33 years in recovery. I talk about my spiritual journey. I try to be a prime example of living this new way of life. Guess what, family? I don't get paid for nothing I do. I get donations. I can get furniture. Now, I rent property to put people in. I have to pay the landlord. So the individual, I rent out a room, that's the bed space. I might walk away with $500 for whatever house. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to go back into the property to make sure the people are okay. So I don't really, because of the way it's designed, I don't make money. It's not to say you can't, don't get it wrong, because that's where the rehabbing portion of my housing program come in at. The rehabbing and revitalizing houses. But I had to prepare people first from a temporary situation to permanent. That's why people have to be willing to do the work to turn their lives around. We can only provide the services. So if you say like you got 20 clients, you might have about 3 that actually graduate from the program. And I'm gonna tell you this, when it comes to buying a house, that's not a problem for any of my clients, because I know a lot of people that's rehabbing and revitalizing houses for low to moderate income people. But my clients gets the first option, being in my housing program, to buy a house. Whether they buy it or not, the house gonna sell. We already know. But I'd rather for my clients in the program get into the home buying program, because it's all right there. Y'all ain't know I did all this, did you? The LaTanya D. Copeland House of Hope is just the housing program. Strengthen the community is the business. The LaTanya D. Copeland housing program is under the business. But it's actually, it can go as one entity. Community activists, community organizer, community journalist, homeless advocate. Basically everything I do, human rights advocate, working with other organizations, is to help build back up in the community. A new BMore city, rebuilding our community. I started that page in 2017 when we had the 343. It's underlined for TikTok family, homicide rate in Baltimore City. Y'all ain't know that, did you? I've been promoting those pages for years. A new BMore city. Strengthen the community. Stephen Copeland Jr., sports and talents. It's all about building back up in the community. Stephen Copeland Jr., well, senior, that's me. Well, Stephen Copeland, 59. Lavelle Copeland, 59. That's me. A lot of y'all, I appreciate you because y'all are supporting the pages. Y'all are posting and commenting, supporting it. It'll tell you who created the pages. You looking right at them. Right now, I'm streaming live to 3 of my Facebook pages as we speak. YouTube, as we speak. TikTok on a whole different platform. Twitter. I was trying to embed Instagram, but each time you do Instagram, you got to put in the URL number, a different one. But I can go live directly on it if I want to. BMore. I have 14 social media pages. I'm saying this for you, some of my TikTok friends. TikTok TikTok is a live stream broadcasting network, even though it's considered as an app. It is seen all around the world. It is no different than YouTube, X, Twitter, these other social media platforms. It's no different. We're being seen in other countries. When people come on here and say, I'm from Africa or I'm from the UK, that should show you right then and there. You are being seen all over the world and in other countries. And they are looking at the way we conduct ourselves as Black people. And then y'all want to know why we're taken for granted. Look at your behaviors. See what I say out my mouth because of my own talk show? They know who Steve is. They know what Mr. Copeland do. Because I let them know. And not only that, if they want to track Mr. Copeland, you can. Google him. He has a Facebook page. I don't have to sit up here and lie about nothing. To thy own self be true. I wasn't always like this. I come from the streets. The streets. The streets. The streets. I come from it. Born and raised. I was once a problem. Now Mr. Copeland worked towards the solution. That's what a community organizer does. Because I understand what it's going to take for us to build back up in the block community. Because I'm from the block community. I recovered from the block community, so I know what it takes to go back and clean things up. Some things we can slow down and stop, but it's work. It takes more than the politicians, because they're going to create the laws, but we come up with the solutions. Keep playing with me. Number one, they one individual. They can't be everywhere in the city to slow a lot of it down. So who else going to slow it down? When your community is being destroyed, who actually destroying your community? We don't just let anybody come in our communities and tear it apart. So who destroying their own communities? You want me to say that again? For some of y'all that like pointing fingers at Brandon Scott and Ivan Bates, they not in the community like that. They not out there with the loud music and doing what they doing. They not out there. Who are those that's out there? Huh? And then you want to point the finger? Know why I'm saying that? Because I did it. I was blaming them too for a lot. Yeah. Them years ago when y'all see me on here looking like I was wilding out because I was putting them on blast, not now. See, I ain't understand then. I understand now. They just lawmakers. They set the tone. We the ones had to follow up. Go read the 5 books of Moses. Go read the 10 commandments and tell me what's different from the 5 books of Moses that's written down, the breakdown. Tell me what's different than what they trying to apply to our lives today. If you break the laws that they create, go read it. Go read it. The 10, I was going to say books of Moses. The 10 commandments are basically traditions, right? That's why we have 12 traditions NNA. And then it'll go in to tell you how to live according to the traditions. Each tradition. You have the 10 commandments. You go into the 5 books of Moses. It will break down how you live accordingly to those commandments. Did y'all know that? Same concept. That the religious sector use, that the politicians use. Then you have your 12-step spiritual program. But for us, we understand the traditions. We understand the laws. We understand all that. But we understand it's based around your spirituality, which is your character, your personality, who you are as a human being, who you are as a person. You have a good side of you, which is loving, caring, kind, considerate, and thoughtful. You have a side of you too that can get angry, get mean, get jealous, feel insecure, distrust. It's still the same individual. It's where you spending that energy at. So once you allow a lot of that evil side of you or that demon side of you play more of a role in your life, which is the jealousies, the insecurities, the hurt, the harm, I gotta watch what I'm saying for TikTok's sake, language-wise, right? Because they're restricted over here. That's why when y'all hear say childhood trauma, a lot of it starts from early on. Throughout the years, even 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, even older. People being violated, people being hurt. And they're not actually telling people what's going on with them because they're afraid of the repercussions. So if you find an adult that's afraid to talk about something that happened with them when they was a child, imagine an adult being afraid to tell about something that happened to them as an adult. You get it? Real conversations. Real conversations. Real life stories. You got a platform where you can be real about what's going on. And a lot of us rather go to places that we feel, and look, I'm getting ready to say this because I understand. When you hurting inside, when you full of chaos, confusion, and pain and all of that, you're going to go where you feel more comfortable at. around a bunch of people that's talking about a bunch of chaos and chaotic and unhelpful stuff where you don't have to deal with the solution process of it. You get it? Been there, did that, done that. Why are people afraid to address those demons inside themselves? That's a question you got to ask yourself. Why are you afraid to address it? Right? Acknowledge them. Understand them. I'm going to read to y'all some of the steps they put right here. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab my other phone for right now. And we'll get back to y'all in a little bit. Let me read this. Let me read this. Let me read this. Because I do not want to leave anybody hanging. Once I get better, Baltimore City, with posting stuff in here, putting it up in the background, I am going to start posting stuff because I do want y'all with my StreamYard. I can have at least 2 people up here. So I do want to get better with bringing professionals up so we can talk. And that's the same things I do with TikTok. TikTok, they comes on that. So that's not a problem. It's just, I don't know how to set it up. I'm learning little by little. I have to send everything out. But look, it say the 5 steps to address your inside demons. Family, 5 steps to address your inside demons. At step one, or step one. I'm gonna say step one. I would say phase 1. Acknowledge them. So you already know they're there. Stop denying. Be honest with yourself. You can't heal what you won't face. That's deep, ain't it? Acknowledge them. Stop denying. Be honest with yourself. You can't heal what you won't face. Remember I said it's inside out. Second, understand them. Ask, where did this come from? Pain has a purpose. Find the root. Remember when I said I got clean and I had to learn to be honest with myself? And then I did a 4-step fearless more inventory. I had to go back. Feel them to heal them. That is so deep. Feel them to heal them. Allow yourself to feel without fear. Feel it, release it, don't suppress. Now y'all see why I talk about the 12-step spiritual journey. Number 4, forgive yourself and others. I say that a lot because some of us are dealing with childhood traumas, right? We beat ourselves up for something that somebody else did to us, the pain that they caused to us, with the shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff. So that's why I always say for us, we have to learn to forgive our own self for how we felt about what was done to us. Let go of the guilt, blame, and resentment. Freedom starts with forgiveness. Remember, I talk about the resentment, the anger, the fear, and all of that. I had to learn how to love, practice some acceptance, some forgiveness. I had to learn how to let go. Transform and grow. Use your pain to feel your purpose. Your story can help someone else. You see what that said? Transform and grow. Use your pain to fill your purpose. Your story can help someone else. I think Chat GBT, because I send them stuff over and I asked them, I kind of shared with them how I wanted to go back out more and more professionally, like, and do this, just to put it back out. I want to call myself a professional, right? We all have demons, but healing happens when we stop running and start facing them. Now I'm going to share this Baltimore City. For a lot of recovering addicts, right, that cannot get out to NA meetings and stuff like that, right? This is what my platform is all about. As a recovering addict with the working knowledge of the 12 steps, the 12 traditions, and the 12 concepts, this is how I run my LLC as well, based around the information in my housing program. Because everything, I'm going to say, starts with spirituality. I was getting ready to say religion, but it has laws, rules, and regulations that you have to follow. They traditions. Either way. But the goal is to help you to become more independent. When I say independent, it's not based around mental, emotional, and spiritual bondage. It's a freedom from within yourself. You get what I'm saying? You have to free yourself mentally. Let me turn this down some. You got to learn to free yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because it's all here. When I read up on post-traumatic slavery syndrome, I'm going to say it again. I keep saying slavery. Post-traumatic slave syndrome that has been passed down generation after generation after generation through slavery. The whole goal, when you hear me talk about organized religion, and politics is the same. The goal is to enslave and oppress the people. You notice how we keep putting up basically the same prompts, saying the same things about a system. We're talking about a system. It's an evil process. When I got arrested 3 years ago, God took me back to Moses. The same way he told Moses, go tell Pharaoh. I said, let my people go. That's when I began to understand a little bit more about the post-traumatic slave syndrome. That's when I began to understand a hell of a lot more about the school to prison pipeline. That's how I began to see how when Jesus told, I get ready to say the pharaohs. When Jesus was talking to the Romans, and he talked about how religion tends to separate us. And he talked about let there be no dominions against us. Well, between us, which will separate us. That's why when y'all hear me say certain things, I talk about organized religion and politics is what keep people. You see, I said people, because they aren't just black. They aren't just black, because when the rules are laid down, the politics are laid down, they just don't affect black people. They affect people that basically need the state and the government assistance the most. And if you don't need the government and the state's assistance financially because you're able to take care of your own well-being without their help, I'm not talking about you. You get it? I'm talking about more of your people that's living in marginalized communities. I'm talking about more of your people that's living in poor communities that need the assistance of the state and the government the most. Mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And a lot of us will sell our people out for the type of work we do to keep them more enslaved and oppressed, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I already know that because I say it a lot. And you get paid for it to keep your people. You're taught to keep your people enslaved and oppressed. It's not to break them, not to help them, set them free. You think I ain't know that? That's why if I send my clients to anybody and you're not really helping them, I'm going to move them away from you because I know what you're supposed to do. Talk that bull junk to somebody else. As a recovering addict, as a person who follows the ways of this 12-step program, this spiritual program, I know what you are designed to do when it comes to helping the people balance themselves back out mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, psychologically. I know what you're supposed to do. Take that bull jump to somebody else. And I'm only sharing this as a person that works with people to help turn their lives around. Why are you afraid to address those demons inside? Why? That's something you got to ask yourself. That's something you got to ask yourself. I'm talking to my daughter today. Her and her sister had a little argument and her mother, right? Understandable. My thing is, it's not just that they have an argument, it's how they work through it. Because we are going to argue. We are going to have our difficulties. The point is how you work through them. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. Y'all see this right here? Why are people afraid to address those demons inside of themselves? Spiritual growth and spiritual and healing. Wait a minute, spiritual growth, because I don't want to confuse nobody. Okay? The only reason why I'm saying this, Baltimore, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow too, from 6 to 8. I'm going to see why I got my comment things on. I should be able to see comments from my other platforms, but I'm trying to see why I don't spot my comments from my other platforms. Let me see something. So I am going to see why, because if y'all talking to me from my other pages and YouTube and all of that, I can't see it until I get off of this and I go through them. Now I sent some comments out and I see it went to, it shows me it's over at Twitch. It's on my Strength in the Community. It's on my, I keep calling X Twitter. So if I say Twitter, bad with me, because I'm so used to Twitter. And it's on my Stephen Copeland. It's not showing me my main page that it should be on. And it just say welcome everyone. But if y'all are commenting something on there, I can't see it. But I am going to have to either reach out to StreamYard, because that's very important to me to be able to read my comments from all of my other platforms. That's the blessing I like about it, being right here. And if somebody comments something from YouTube, and it was several people that commented to me from YouTube, and it was a good feeling to be able to respond back to them. So that's why I got StreamYard. And y'all ain't cheap. Okay? I don't want to go back to Restream. I like StreamYard better. Y'all was generating little clips. You want me to pay more for that now? We're not going to do that. Because I'll find a way to generate my own clips with my own show. The package I got is not cheap. This is business for me. This is advertising for me. This is not a joke. This how I commercialize my LLC. This how I commercialize the Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope. This how I commercialize strengthening, that right there. But being a community activist, being a community outreach coordinator, being a community organizer, all of that. Human rights advocate. The only thing I'm saying to our people, wherever you at, is just fighting for your civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. It doesn't matter your nationality. But when it comes to Baltimore City, when it comes to my Black community, 100%. But with the organizations that I'm with, right, like American Civil Liberty Union, I know they just don't fight for the Black community. Communities United, they are the Baltimore branch of the Center for Popular Democracy. They don't just fight for Black people's civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. I shared this with y'all, and when I learned about more, I'm gonna ask AI about some more like nonprofit organizations out there. And these are lawyers now. Most of these people that I'm talking with y'all, like the ACLU, Communities United, places, the Center for Popular Democracy, they are designed, and they were designed. I know the Center for Popular Democracy was designed by politicians, Democrats, to fight for the people's rights. Now, I'm going to share this with y'all too. Do not get the Democratic Party and the Republican Party mixed up, because they all fight for your civil rights, your equal rights, and your constitutional rights. It's just, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the Democratic Party don't mind creating stuff for you to hang on to. It's the Republican Party that wants you to be more independent, but they're not coming in to do the work. That's the only thing. I mean, you got to understand what their affiliation is. A lot of y'all run off at your freaking mouth and don't really understand what's going on between the two. All of them share the same ideas, some not all. Be on the same page when it comes to the people. Some of them want you to actually work for what you want out of life. So I understand that. My thing is, when it comes to the Republican Party, what nonprofit or businesses do you have in the community where you really helping the people? I told y'all it's a difference. So I love y'all. It's a little after. Time for me to end this. Love you, Baltimore City.